Hi there, it's the Angry Environmentalist with you again today. And a couple of days ago I was talking about a fellow named Tim Clark with KPMG who was talking about the Western Climate Initiative and some of the things going on in British Columbia to alleviate global warming or try and contain, I guess, some of the gases or reduce them. And one of the things he was talking about is there's going to be a charge per ton of equivalent CO2 going up into the atmosphere, levied against governments, private businesses, and so forth coming on. We've got a fuel tax here that's specifically for that. But you know, they're funding all these different things. They're starting to tax them. And my question to him and to the Premier of the province, Gordon Campbell, is why aren't we funding some things that are known that are going to be an absolute environmental disaster coming up in the next 2 to 5 to 10 years? And the thing I'm talking about here is the devastation of the pine-beetle. We've got about half our province is being chewed apart by this pine-beetle, and what is left behind is pine trees that are red and dead. Pine, by the way, pine is what turpentine comes from. So if you've ever set a match to turpentine, you can imagine how these dried pine trees are going to go up that the beetle has killed. It's going to be like a fire through tall grass. And there's really been nothing done. I mean, I don't know, frittering about the edges maybe, but nobody's really done anything. And some of this money that they're talking about being put away, this $25 per ton of kilogram ton of carbon, you know, should be put into things like this. This is what's needed to be done. This is going to be. One environmentalist says it's going to be the biggest environmental disaster the Earth has known when British Columbia's forests go up. There is so much in the province that's red and dead right now, and it's going to create a whole new microclimate for the area. Probably much drier, I imagine, but it's going to have some devastating effects. And instead of waiting for it, let's get out there and try and do some preventative measures. We've got to start doing things like this. We can't just sit there and wait for, you know, good luck to take care of us, because we've made an absolute mess of this planet, and we've got to start doing some things right now. So let's not, you know, fund some stupid wind projects. Let's try and do stuff like this. And I don't know if you can see that across the valley there, but I'm just gonna tune in on it a little bit and see if we can get a little bit of the idea. Not sure if you can see that or not, but there is just a ton of that stuff that's just absolutely red and dead. And you know, if you ever go onto the internet and check out maps of the province, and they show you how much of it's dead, it's just a disaster. So let's put some of the money to work right now, Gordon Campbell, and all you folks with these fancy ideas. Let's put it together in practical ways that we can help do something immediately over the next couple of years. Let's set some of this bush on fire in the late fall and winter, early spring when we can still dampen it. Let's try and build cut zone blocks or whatever it is. I don't know all the fire techniques that could be applied here, but so the whole province doesn't end up going up in smoke in 1, 2, or 3 years, or you know, over a 1, 2, or 3 year period over the next decade, because that's a real possibility. Get a hot summer and there could be fires everywhere, and it's going to be a disaster, an economic disaster for BC too. There's a ton of people that make their living in logging and things like that. I don't know what's going to happen when you get environmental degradation of that nature, and I don't think, you know, a lot of people really thought about that. What happens to everything else? Just reading something about the amount of soot falling in the Arctic, and it's creating warming because the soot lands on the snow. The snow doesn't reflect the sunlight as much anymore. It starts absorbing it. Warming. What's going to happen when all these forests in BC start catching fire? It's going to add to global warming. Aside from the carbon push-up, it's going to add a lot of soot, and that's going to have an effect too. So let's start doing some practical things. Spend some money now, because every nickel we spend now is going to be worth $1 in 10 years. So that's something to think about. Okay? That's the Angry Environmentalist signing off for today.